Welcome back to the OCE Championship League Play 1. My name is Asterix, this is Courier, this is Yummy Cheese Man at the end of the desk, and we are back to tell you about Darksider taking on Legs Are Silly. Legs Are Silly, who had a hard run through the bracket to get here.
The lower bracket, in fact. One of the teams that we thought would have a pretty easy qualification time coming through, but they got knocked down pretty fast.
They got upset early on in the open qualifier in the first stage and then had to make a really long run through. They finally managed to do it, taking down Weasel Mafia in the last week. But they are a team that have a lot of confidence coming through despite their inexperience.
Yeah, and they're fast. They're speedy boys.
But Legs Are Silly, the old legacy roster, I mean, an old initiation, they've got some issues that we know about. And of course, they've got a newbie coming into the roster as well.
They've got Sammy coming in, the only rookie of Throwdown. There's obviously other rookies here in the OCE Championship, but Sammy, he's a great player, and he fits into their roster really well because he's a much more defensive player, which counteracts Plitz and Zen being hyper-aggressive.
Yeah, and that is no hyperbole there. They are insanely aggressive. They're really fast. I would say, and you'd probably agree with me, that they're maybe a little too fast away from each other and then into each other.
Yeah, I think they do. Well, Zen and Plitz typically the ones that double commit, but it's because they're trying to be the first to the ball, and if you end up committing at the same time as them, they're always going to beat you.
That's pretty good, though. I think when you're going up against a team like Dumbo and Express, who defensively are quite good, you know, Dumbo used to be famous for that pre-jumping. Being fast is going to be a huge advantage.
I think the interesting question for Darksided here is they might have a style that counteracts the playstyle, the hyper-aggressiveness of Legs Are Silly, because they're more willing to stand back to wait for the touch to happen and then deal with it instead of trying to challenge the touches.
Yeah, and just get that cheeky EU clear that just flies over everyone and they just pray that Sammy's sitting back.
Well, Darksider are calm, cool, and collected, whereas you have a team that's erratic and all over the place. Not to say that Legs Are Silly are not a great team, but I agree with what you're saying that it could be quite dangerous for Legs Are Silly. Yummy, do you have any faith in a team that can maybe, I don't know, surprise Darksided?
I've been watching and I've been following Legs Are Silly for a while. I believe that as individual players, they're fantastic, but I don't think they have what it takes right now as a team to take down Darksided. They've still got a few more weeks, so Darksided are going to take it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think Darksided is going to take it. I think the reason for that is the only real out I see for Legs Are Silly is they get it so fast they interrupt the pressure that's going to be coming from Darksided, which you see when they start winning. But if you can't catch them and dribble past them when you get the opportunity, you're pretty much dead.
I agree, because calm, cool, and collected is more my style of Rocket League.
And your style of casting.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
No, not casting. Definitely not casting. I think that for Darksided, they have just had a series where they've warmed into it and they've just shown how dominant they really are. Now against Legs Are Silly, who in my opinion may not be as strong as Love Decks are today, depending on how we see them, of course, because afterwards they go up against the sister team. We then find out...
drama.
Yeah, I know. We then find out how Legs Are Silly, that logo, are going to go here. We go into game one, Darksided taking on Legs Are Silly.
For Legs Are Silly, this is another important game. Wow, great start as well with that huge dribble play. Quickly blocked out by Express. It's a big game for them because they don't have an org yet. They're one of the few orgless teams left in the competition. So a good showing here could set them up. There it
was.
Oh,
All right, Courier, you're an analyst. Tell me about this.
That's a goal scored by Plitz against Darkside.
Nice.
Yep. Not what you want.
Definitely not what you want. 20 seconds in, Legs Are Silly. It's a lead, no less.
I'm going to put that as they're lulling. Well, the reverse coming from Express. Not happy to be scored upon, but more than happy to score.
All right, so a bit of an explosive game to start. We said it was going to be involving pace, and it's definitely stepped up off the crossbar. That's one of those perfect shots we were talking about in the break, or at least close to, I dare say. Or maybe not, who knows. 30 seconds have passed, 2 goals on the board. Sammy now centering it over to Express again. Losing the ball, Zen brings it back around. Legs Are Silly. Sammy comes in, Blitz is here, dribbles it. Loses the ball, Dumbo sneaks it through. Oh boy.
That's some beautiful theft there. Right in front of the goal, going for the challenge.
So I guess Plitz was trying to read that one, but still, Darksider get themselves into a bit of a lead, and Silly are falling down.
Dumbo's a pretty good ones player, so I'm not surprised that he managed to pull that out. What is going on? Oh,
Well, Blitz back in time. Yeah, Curry, it's all right. I got you. Shady here, centering the ball away by Zen. Dark-sided, actually trying to knock this one, and Zen sends it away. Dumbo waiting on the side. 3 members of Legs Silly are coordinated together, but trying to pierce the defense. Dark-sided just running rampant in this side of the field. Zen finally clearing it away. Sammy getting it up. And the aggression now starts for Legs Silly. Zen centering it, taken away. No one in defense. Goodbye, New York, as the ball sends it.
yeah, just a runaway now. That is 3-1 to Darkside against Legs Silly. But the way I'm going to look at it is it's 3-0, because that goal that Legs got was a bit of a doozy.
No, it's still career. I mean, it's still 3-1. End of the day. Dark-sided still cleaning this one up, so it's forgotten at this point in time. And Express off the kickoff. Here he goes. Off the wall. Now centered. Dark-sided setting themselves up. In comes Shady. It's not really matched. I'm not sure what's going on the backboard. It's denied. Plitz now dribbling the ball. Solo play. Express around the corner, waiting for it. Plitz now comes through with the ball.
And Porter's team had a lot of time, right? He saw that the rest of his team were out of rotation. He was the last man left, so he has to go for a challenge. And because he could play it so slowly, he could fix up the rest of his team's positioning.
Saw a bit of a optimistic pass play, and that was good. That's what I really wanted to see from Legs Silly. Setting the ball up now on the defensive. Dark-sided have been here for a little while. Really good from Legs Silly. Blitz just tries to pummel the ball in. Doesn't work. Zen reacting with the ball, now sending it over to Blitz. Communication there. Blitz. Center. Zen. Sent away by Shady. Shady now back up for the ball. It's off the wall. This should be good for Express. It comes to a standstill over the top. Dumbo now up for it. It comes back down. Sammy doesn't get the touch. Blitz. We reiterate on its Legs Silly scraping through. But now you're in the top 8. You're against these expert teams like Dark-sided. We're way past the stage of professional gaming, etc., etc. These are pro players. This is their career. Dumbo. Over to Shady. Shady now setting it up. Dumbo waits back. Express pulling back as well. Express getting under pressure, but that's a demo onto Blitz. This might open things up. Zen doesn't have full control of this ball as Dumbo reacts to it, as will Shady. He heads on back. Express going to leave it. Zen, ball centered. Sammy over the top, but Express saved the day.
Yeah, this is something we need to see. Legs Silly kind of have 2 aces in their pockets. One is really, really fast plays, and the other is hopefully that they can get Blitz and Zen to line up and actually get the pass plays to each other, because if they don't, they're pretty much in the deep end.
Well, Dark-sided is a game they're surely going to close out game 1. There's been so much control. Dumbo now centering it over to Express, slow with the ball. Off this corner, pinches it up. Zen actually centers it over. This is going to be Dumbo dunking it, and it's saved away by Sammy. Shady trying to continue that cataclysm, but will not. Dumbo bringing it back. Good drop in front of net, and a minute remaining. So Dark-sided still up by a couple of goals. This is going to be quite convincing, Korea.
Yeah, it's been pretty convincing. They're just controlling it. Every time we see Legs Silly trying to get up, they're getting beaten out by Dark-sided, and when speed is your ally, and you're not born with it, you're not raised by it, you're in a sad place.
40 seconds left remaining. Legs Silly may not have done enough for this game 1. Some signs of life, but kind of moving into the series. Legs Silly struggling a little bit on that front. Good to see for Sammy. I mean, this experience is invaluable. Dark-sided are just playing with the ball. Sammy solo recovers, but ball's already away from him. And as I was saying, Korea, I mean, for Sammy, this experience, you know, getting into the OCE Championship, not many can say that.
Yeah, puts you in one of the top 8 teams. 3 players a team, like top 24, top 25. Include 1 sub.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the sub's got to perform first. Legs Silly, that was a goal. But Dark-sided win it out anyway, so game 1, as expect.
Yeah, as expected. I think Darksider gave them that early goal to lull them into a false sense of security
Okay, all
before
right.
they struck,
All right.
rather than a bit of a whoopsie-doozy.
But there were some good shots on net from Legs Sicilian. It just showed Darksider how strong their defense really is, as we saw in the last series. But for Legs Sicily, they're going to have to step up a lot more to go against Darksider.
Well, it's kind of one of those things, right? If you can win a game and one of your team has donuts on the scoreboard with the 0 shots, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 saves, it's probably not been a great game for you.
Probably not. But this is, again, for seeding purposes. I mean, this is Darksided, who, you know, one of the top teams, the top 3, top 4. And then you have Legs Sicily, who scraped through at the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
They narrowly...
Polar opposites.
Well,
Darksided smashing their way through, Legs Sicily dropping before the top 16.
But that's what we expected when we watched Darksided in qualifiers. You're like, this team shouldn't be in qualifiers, should they? And they dominate no matter what. And there's teams that really struggle against them. And we've seen that again today, that these newer teams, these more unexperienced teams, excuse me.
That's all good. I can catch it later.
Yeah, no, just experienced, actually really struggle against teams that have so much experience. It's like experience matters.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Dumbo, 6 bazillion hours. It's good to have.
It's very good to have. And now he's in an environment that is all built around hard working. And there's so much skill in this Darksider roster now. And it's proving to be quite a lot for Legs Sicily. Game 2. The logo gets me every time. Darksider now in good position. Zen, he's cleared it away already. It's actually up for himself. Zen with the solo play. Flit's trying to incorporate that into his style. Sammy gets the bump on Shady. Means nothing right now, but the center might. Taken away by Zen.
They have a chance.
Maybe the bump has something to do with it. Maybe Darksided. Not off to a cracker of a start, but this is a much more convincing goal for Legs Sicily. I'm so sorry.
And I'm going to count that goal, right? That was beautiful. Unlike the last one, they kind of got given that freebie. This is a showing that they can kick off strong, despite Dumbo smashing one and stealing it from right under their nose.
But I mean, as soon as Darksided let one in, they're always back with this counterattack. And Express centered that nicely. Plitz off to the side, and through the defense, Darksided find one more. Straight up. Darksided are up 70% on the polls, so
which is fair.
I think it's more than fair. Express off the corner. Let's pop it up. Shady's here. Oh, goes swinging. Sammy bringing it upfield. That's a shot. Dumbo sends it away. Zen too far forward, but Sammy's in here nonetheless. Dumbo popping it up once more. Zen gets under the ball and on top of it. Darksided pretty precise here, but from the tempo, like you said, Correa, Legs Sicily are definitely putting it on. The pace in front of that net. Sammy's come up as well. Blitz comes round to the ball, and they're not getting out of attack anytime soon. But with that huge clear, they have to rotate fast.
Yeah, Dumbo is having a beautiful game. Did you see 3 consecutive challenges, which he won, to then push it into the other half? The fact he's playing so fast as well is shutting them down in the midfield. Dumbo is really filling that spot in the Darksided rosters they picked him up for and stepping up to the plate.
3 minutes 30 remaining, the angle's there. Zen hanging in the mid. He's got boost now. Gonna play with it. Down he goes off the roof, hits it. Great angle, Zen. Did not find his way into our top 5 highlights, unfortunately. He was close. Legs Sicily back on the defensive here. That's going to dribble the ball. He gets a pass one, but he's run out of boost here, folks. Up goes Sammy. There's the angle. No one in defense. It's missed, and Sammy gets it.
Yeah, the defense in Darksided not ready and not able to see the shot coming through. You can see they just didn't have the opportunity because they weren't there.
Well, this is good for Legs Sicily. Remember, Korea, remember when I said signs of life?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you wanted.
Life?
Yeah. I don't know, sometimes it just comes through. 3 minutes, Legs Sicily up a goal. And now, Darksided, they're pulling that trigger once more. Express trying to center it, but Plitz clears it away. Shady. Slimmer than ever. Plitz. Gonna read that angle. Dumbo now dribbling the ball up. Takes a boost. And Sammy, Zen, Plitz, they're all getting back. Quick demolition onto Sammy. Express can't get it through. Blocked well by Legsasili, but this is up for Dumbo. Zen's not there. It's locked in, but saved away by Sammy.
Oh, Dumbo is just so fast today, and it's great to see him just powering up to the Legsasili, stopping them take advantage of the fact they came in thinking we can be the speedy team, and they're like, nah.
Express playing through the air was trying to find something. Legsasili. This is an opportunity for them. Shady off the wall. This could be it. Dark-sided. Equalize. Right now, Legsasili holding the lead. They look confident. More confident than ever. Shady off the wall. Blitz now. He'll send the ball. Express over the side. Quick demolition onto Shady will halt that aggression. In these big clears, Legsasili playing off it as well. There's Blitz.
Yeah, beautiful redirect coming there from Blitz, putting it straight away. Look at the read, too. They're starting to work together as a cohesive unit. And we talked about how Sammy needs to step up and be the glue that can set up the passes for Blitz and Zen, who are always going to want to be cheating forward and always looking to receive that pass.
Legsasili take the lead, and game one, it looked like Darksided were just running all over them, and now maybe Legsasili have just figured something out. Darksided coming down the side of the field, 1 minute 30 remaining. 2 goals. Ball getting cleared wide open. I believe that was a goal. It was angled a little to the left. Sammy dribbles it past one, not the other. Zen here. Some short passes from Darksided. Starting to be intercepted by Blitz. As he's pushing forward, Legsasili. They missed this ball. Dumbo has as well. Minute 10. It's popped up. Maybe trying to surprise Darksided. Shady here. It gets over Zen. There's no one in net, folks. That is what you call a goal.
Well, that's all she wrote. Shady with that beautiful pop over, showing some 1v1 mastery there.
Shady.
Just clean.
Now Darksided, a minute left remaining. Okay, we've talked up Legsasili career, but Darksided, you don't count them out. It's a matter of 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 5 minutes. You don't count them out.
No, it was the verb of the Open Series. To Darkside, to utterly destroy another team and get that sweet, sweet, sweet.
Really, really was. 25 seconds remaining. Shady now setting it up. Dumbo, in he comes. It's going to be a good angle. If it can be dropped on, Zen, he's hit it up lightly, but that's centered for Express. It's knocked down. Blitz trying to clear it away. No one up for Darksided just yet. This is Shady off the wall. Tries to send it through. Actually gets off the corner. It's centered nicely. Not away. Blitz up the field it goes. Legsasili, they only just hold on, but 20 seconds left remaining. Zen will try and angle it. Might not find it this time, but still playing with time. Shady, solo play. It's over to Express, off the wall. Reads it beautifully. Zen, does he get it off the backboard? He doesn't. Blitz goes to the defense. He blocks it only just, but it's almost nailed in. Shady, one last play. They're leaving it on the ground, and it works out. Legsasili pick up a game.
Yes, stealing it away from Darksided, and every single one of those were nice, clean goals. So it's good to see them taking it to Darkside on an even playing field.
This was a close game, career, and much more closer than game one. Darkside is still having the same impact, but Legsasili, they look a bit faster. They look like they're in their comfort zone a little bit more.
Yeah, Dumbo is still consistently getting up and challenging them, but they're struggling to catch up with the pass plays that are coming out. Those were pretty crazy, right? When Sammy passes it to Blitz and he just destroys it across Darkside's defense. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried.
Sammy's a good third, though. You have to admit. I mean,
he was a perfect pick.
When you see all the players that have been through, Blitz, Zen, and then you see like, okay, Soma. We've seen Pinor come in, usually in place if Blitz is not there. But we've seen so many different dynamics with both Zen and Blitz. I think Sammy works out well because, as you guys said at the start of the OCE Open Series, it enables them to push forward. Sammy's a bit of a rock. He'll push forward himself, but enables them to rotate.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm 100% on board with what you're saying.
I hope so.
He's the glue that holds the two of them together as they just kind of try to pull the whole thing apart.
The glue that holds the camel's back.
Glue in a camel's back?
Well, how the straw breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need glue to hold the camel's back together?
Yeah. So because Blitz and Zen, right, may have been the camel's back.
Okay.
Right? With the straw, it breaks. Right?
Yeah.
That's how much stress the camel's under. You put glue on
Wait,
it.
so the two of them combined, are they a single hump or are they two individual humps on the camel's back?
There's 3 players, there's 3 damn humps. I don't know how many humps camels have. How many humps do camels have?
They can have a number of humps. It's not like
You don't know either. You're just trying to pretend. Game 3, I beg your pardon. Legs are silly after picking up 1. Spicing up this relationship just that little bit more. And now centering through, getting interesting with the angles. Sammy waiting patiently, but Zen brings the ball all the way back down. The camel not breaking just yet. Zen centering. Plitz rotating around. Shady getting it through 1. Plitz now has to react to this ball, but does not. Darksider pushing up the field. Off the wall. Dumbo acted as if that wasn't coming back to him. Express now bringing it all the way through. And do we see a mirror image of game 3? Shady loses it to Zen. Individually, great players working together as a team. Different story. 1 minute's past career, and Darksider, they're bringing it all the way back up. This is the moment. Dumbo tries to slide it in. Sammy saving.
Yeah, great defensive addition to the team. There's 2 teammates that love just coming forward and going for those shots. The fact you can play defense so well against a powerhouse team like Darksider, again, they're coming together to save it in the air. It's good to see.
Well done from Zen. Sammy to help out with the clear. Zen now bringing it back up. Interesting angles. That's what I was going with. Blitz hanging back. Darksider, they bring up the aggression. And with it, get in the clear. Shady. Back over to Dumbo. Good pass to Express. It's met. For Darksider. Now back on the defensive. Getting shut down. Legs of Silly can do it. We said how tight league play really is.
Like a Tiger.
Like a Toega. League play is something where teams can develop. They can find reactions to teams. How do we defeat teams like Darksider? How do we defeat teams like Chiefs? Or even Tainted? Excuse me. This is Legs of Silly.
Need a lot of straw. That's what you need to be Legs of Silly.
That's what you damn need. Express coming up for the ball. Legs of Silly on that defense once again. And it'll be a big learning experience this series, no matter which way it goes. Center, it's there, not found. That was an open goal. Dumbo wasn't back in time. They've left it. Now the counterattack. It's so intuitive of Darksider. Dumbo coming around this corner. Sammy hasn't got full control of the ball. Express waits for it. Pinches it between 2-3 members. Blitz comes back up for the ball. It's good for Zen. Off this corner. Will now have to find a second touch. Fakes it out. Sammy in this corner. Comes around. Good recovery, but no boost. Blitz brings it down to Zen. There's a shot. Angled in nicely, but saved by Dumbo.
Yeah, just in the nick of time as well. We are seeing Darksider's rotations have been a little bit too wide for them as they start to push forward in the earlier games. And I think they're slowly starting to clean that up and not getting punished as hard. I speak too soon. Plitz finds the hole nonetheless.
That was it. Legs are silly, bringing themselves on the board in what is a lower scoring goal game. And Plitz has been playing very well in this series. Such a different game. Legs are silly. Again, another team that is trying to deny these expectations.
Yeah, they're going the full Daft Punk build. Faster, stronger. It's all working for them because they just need to get in between Darksider and beat them to the ball. And that's how you can find holes in a team that likes going for a wider rotation when they can, which is how we saw them beat Love Decks earlier today. So if they fall into that habit and legs are too fast, then it will soon be too over.
Well, especially if they fall over Courier. Legs are silly. I don't know if they can get back up. Minute 30. Shady has come into the offense. Darksider angling well. That's a good setup for Dumbo. And just like that, they've equalized.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. Legs are silly are really playing one of their A games today. We know Darksider are coming in. They are top 2 seeds, debatably. Definitely top 4. Legs are silly making that lower bracket run, putting them somewhere around the 7th, 8th. It's quite a showing and just shows how tight OCE really is at the moment.
Well, there's been improvement over this series. Plitz and Zen having a ripper of a game so far, but Sammy, who's supplementing that so well. Darksider matching now. Express up to the ball. That backboard hasn't been touched. It opens it up for Express.
It's all good and well to have backboard defense, but when your opposition are in your head 3 steps ahead, knowing exactly how it's going to come back, oh boy.
Great angling from Express. Blitz just unable to send it far enough away. And now Darksider, they take the lead. Minute 10 remaining. A little bit worrying. And it is a top 3 team. Top 4 when you consider the new legacy, and that's what Legs of Silly have to go up against next. So Darksider, yes, they're their own brute. They're their own best teams in OCE. And this is only the start. Darkseid pushing up. The backboard, this one hasn't been pressured, and Blitz has actually gone up. The ball goes past him off the side. Sammy will have to clear it. It pitches up, and the clear is not big enough. Sammy now boots it out of the way. He's bumped himself. 30 seconds. Shady off the corner. Really letting this passing play for Darksided. Get them another one, but Legs are silly. Losing out by 1 goal, and you have to think that this might be like the other series where Darksided, they just start steamrolling at one point.
Yeah, they just kind of hit critical mass. They explode and take everyone out with it.
Throwdown rookie Sammy is going to have to go back to the drawing board with the rest of the Legs Sicilian. See how they take Darksided to a game 5. It's now with a 2-goal lead. You have to say that's very possible to bring this series back, this game back, I beg your pardon.
I love Dumbo's boost.
Dumbo's got some class and has been having a good couple of series. And it's great to see, you know, the development of these individual players. Like Shady we were talking about last year, the end of last year. Now it's about Dumbo, who's the newest addition to the roster. They want to make RLCS. They want to make their dreams a reality. And it starts here, getting some pressure in this league play, pushing yourselves ahead. And we know that in league play, Darksided usually finish in one of the top positions.
Yeah, they're the team that consistently just pulls near the top of the ladder. Whether or not they can win it is a complete
different question.
Different question. Chiefs did have that great run against them in the Open Series.
Well, Chiefs are the land boys, right? When Chiefs get to land, they absolutely explode and make everyone else implode. You go to Darksided, and then you suddenly say, online, mint. Absolutely fantastic in league play. They get into LAN, and you're like, maybe it's not as crystal clean as the Chiefs.
And that's going to be the big question at RLCS, right? You're going to be playing there in front of people. How are you going to cope? Because last time Darksided went overseas, they didn't have the results they wanted. We know Monty Connor wasn't happy with his performance. I know Shady wants to go back and showcase just how well he can do. And Dumbo obviously narrowly missing out and was really hungry for it and was potentially just robbed.
Yeah, well, that was a very different story. Dumbo has been performing well, and in this series, I think Legs are Silly show the similar signs of life that Love Decks do, that there is so much potential and so much room for growth. But when you go up against a team who's gotten past the growth stage and is just narrowing down that micro technology, then that's when you have to start asking, how do we defeat a team that is so controlled? And maybe surprise was the best option. Game 4, Legs are Silly, down 1, Darksided on match point. Take a convincing 6-0 in this week. All they have to do is take this game. Dumbo reading it quite well. Sammy is not actually moving, I don't think. That's a bit of a bummer because this ball is getting pushed and pushed into net, and 2 defenders. That's all they're going to have. The ball eventually might go in. I think Sammy is back now. No, he's been pushed out of the way once again. Angled off that net and cleaned up away. Thank you very much, Observer. Let's go to the real camera. Thank you. Blitz pushing up. Zen here as well. 2 versus 3. Legs are Silly. For some reason, still look kind of comfortable. Zen and Blitz have done this many times before. Nice bump from Zen. Gives a bit of momentum onto Blitz.
Well, we did talk about how Blitz and Zen need to start working better as a teammate and rely on not having Sammy as their glue. And I think if you really want to put into the fire, jump straight into the deep end, let's remove Sammy and try the 2v3.
Well, off the corner, it's going to hit the crossbar, and this one's going to go in. It's about time for Darksided, but unfortunately for Legs Silly, losing Sammy was the cause of it all.
Yeah, there is no stability inside this nucleus anymore. Cannot hold it together.
Well, we'll have to find out what happened there, and hopefully Sammy can come back before we get to a point of no return. 2 versus 3, very unfortunate. For Darksided, just so you know, this is going to keep on happening. They're really good at the 1-2-3 plays.
Yeah, and the sad thing for this is, considering how well Legs Silly were doing against them, even if Sammy comes back, there is a good potential the score's going to be 3-0, 4-0 before then.
Well, still, for Legs Silly, let's talk about what they'll be walking away to improve here, because next they're going up against Legacy, and I know that against Legacy, it is equally a hard opponent, as you would say Darksided is. Now for Legs Silly career, the difference between them and Legacy, I guess I'd chalk it up to maybe control and this presence of team.
I think the big difference between the Legacy and Dark-Sided as opponents for Legacy is just how well the relationships between the players are.
Yeah.
For Dark-Sided, they're just a group of kind of like pros, and the Legacy guys aren't really affiliated with them or haven't really been affiliated with them. But for Legacy versus Legacy, Delusion left the team of Sammy to come up and join Legacy. So he's like an ex-teammate that like left him behind.
Yeah.
And then again, you got like the Legacy roster being like, we were dropped by Legacy. Like our org was dropped because we weren't performing up to scratch. And then you guys stole like our heritage.
It's like a grudge match.
Yeah, it's a grudge match. So
waiting to happen.
Yeah, the rookies have a grudge match within the team. And then this is the team that was dropped by the org versus the new team that the org endorses.
Oh, Sammy's back, ladies and gentlemen. So Legacy now 3 minutes as our headspace suddenly begins to go back into the game. And Darksided, they've been very convincing, but it's only because they didn't have Sammy. Sammy now looking to pace forward, and this is good. Legs are silly. They get one in, and they're back on the board.
Yeah, welcome back, Sammy. That's a strong showing. I was worried that the 3-0 down would put them down and out, but, go, Sammy, go.
Well, Darksided now. That defense was non-existent. And now we have to ask ourselves if Legs are silly can claw their way back.
And if they can claw their game back from this with half time on the clock and 3 down, I'd say they're probably just going to take game 5 too.
Well, maybe Dumbo pushing the ball back up. All members around this left-hand wing. Shady now going for the dribble over the top. Zen pushes up. Dumbo, Express, bump midair over to Sammy. Sammy hanging back. Plitz pushing it again. Dumbo, Shady waits in the wing. Sammy with a light touch gets demolition. Gets a demo, sorry. Plitz over to Zen. Interrupted midway. Darksided, they push the ball through off the backboard. It's only just touched by Plitz. The defense holding out from Legacy. This is crucial because now the counterattack. Here it is. Sammy waiting in. Shady gets to it first. Zen has to turn around. Back to himself, I would have thought. The demolition onto Express, but Plitz has been a good goalkeeper this game, and now he's going to be tested. Trial and error, not acceptable. Needs to be success. The Legs are silly. 2 goals separate them, minute 30 remaining. And they're getting intercepted here, Courier.
Yeah, and they're just getting destroyed. Both teams going for demos, trying to create a little bit of space to open up the midfield, but it's just not working for Legs Sicily as they're slowly getting locked out as the clock ticks down.
Pitched against that backboard. The net, not exposed. Sammy waits. Minute 15, Plitz has no boost, so this clear is going to come to a standstill. No one able to push forward. Sent all the way back down. Plitz actually demoed. They're just blowing them up on Legs are silly. There's still that 2-goal lead, and this is the worrying thing, is that 1 goal was great, but doesn't look like Darksided are able to come back. The dribble from Sammy. Zen pushing upfield as well. Express, Shady have to get all the way back, but great save by Dumbo. Now Plitz with the pass back over to Zen. And I dare fear that Darksided may just have too great of a lead here, Korea.
Yeah, I think so too. They're not greedy enough to fall down, I think, here. So even if they get scored upon, I don't think they'd do anything cheeky on the kickoff. They'd play it safe, try just that 50-50 contest that sends it straight up in the air and burn as much time as possible.
Well, for Darksided, it was a very consistent performance, and it was just a shame about Sammy. But for Legs are silly, again, there were these highlight points that I think we'll definitely be touching on when we look back at this and when we say, yeah, Legs are silly have some potential. This is why they're a top 8 OCE team, because there is no other way to get into our league play unless you're a top 8 team. They've proved it through the qualifiers, but in this case, this scenario, Darksided have proved why they're a top 3.
Yeah, I think an interesting thing to point out here for the Legs Are Silly roster is even though they lost this game 3-1, 2 of those goals were scored while Sammy was DQ'd. So that's technically, it's just like for the whole, the 3v3 time of this game, it was a 1-1. This game could have still gone either way. It was looking like an overtime.
It was, but unfortunate for Legs are silly. However, at the end of the day, Darksided taking up a second series win, and I think Darksided would be happy with the overall performance, but they're just got to tighten up some of those games.
They have to tighten up, and we really saw Legs are silly tighten up their gameplay from previously, even just on the open qualifiers. So there's good signs for them. As a team, they're working well together. I just think individually they still have that same issue where they're all looking to get really aggressive when they're on defense, and that's where a lot of the goals were going in.
Yeah, old habits die hard on that one. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a long time before they get rid of that nut in the
But it was unfortunate. I mean, Sammy leaving in that last game because I think Legs Are Silly had a real opportunity to take that to Game 5. Like you said, tightening things up. Darksided, however, they just have this way of, during that series, just making it look like they can hold against almost anything.
I think Darkseid are just great at taking control, taking possession, not taking risks, so they always feel like, even when they're down, they're comfortable.
Yeah, they never look like they're getting pressured. That's their secret.
But a second series win for Darksided, however, and that is good for them because another league play, they start strong. Who would have thought?
They still they still haven't versed the teams in those contender positions, so we knew that they would kind of do really well. They're expected to be up here already, but I think next week is when the real test begins for Darksided.
Yeah, this is the expectation they would have at the end of the day, is they're going to walk away 2-0.
No more one-liners for me. However, we are going to go to a short 5-minute break. And if you're interested in getting involved in a bit of Rocket League,